Augsburg Confession VIII means you have to believe in two things. It means you have to believe in evil people. And you're like, well, I already believe all people are evil and sinners. No, that's not what I mean, actually, at this point. I mean people that are only evil, that want to be evil, that think lying is okay. You have to believe that's possible. And then, there were two. Oh, yeah. And then you have to believe that there are people who are like that, who can outwardly look and act like Christians their entire life long and die looking and acting like Christians, but they don't believe it at all. That's what Augsburg 8 says. So Augsburg Confession, I'm not going to go into the history of it. You can look that up. But 7 and 8 are both articles. That means things that talk about sections, segments, ideas, dealing with the church, the assembly of believers throughout time and space by Jesus Christ, according to his word, the congregation of the faithful, every Christian that's ever been, however you want to say it, okay? The church, ecclesia. So 7 says the church is the perfect, redeemed, called out of darkness into light people of God in Jesus, all who have faith in Jesus, those who are baptized into Jesus, all Jesus faithfulness, right? It's all faithful. There's nothing evil. There's nothing wicked. There's nothing sinful. It is pure and spotless and clean because Jesus is, and anyone who's in him is that way, and that's who this church is. 7. 8. You never get to see this. You just get to believe in it, and what you see instead is something that outwardly looks like it could almost be that, but it's filled with hypocrites. Go read it. Go read it. Augsburg 8. There must be hypocrites in the church. Now, it's really hard to believe. If you take it on the level of not just they don't believe, but if you take it on the level of they're actively evil in the congregation. And you don't know and can't see necessarily. I mean, the only time this would ever be revealed is what we were just talking about. When the scriptures are like, well, this is obvious. And they're like, I mean, excuse me, but hell no, they are. When they take that approach, right? When they will not consider what the scriptures say, but instead insist on their own human way, which oftentimes ends up, and you can see this as a pastor a little bit. I mean, there's pagan tendencies in all of us, but when they start choosing the pagan tendencies, not violently, but like with an emotional hardness, okay? Once that starts to happen, you're in danger of this, if nothing else. Now, I'm not saying as a pastor you go out and you try to pinpoint it. No, you just be aware that it's out there. And so this is where this came up pondering for me again. We had to read a book in seminary, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. But it was something to do with demonic possession, but not really, just believing that there are liars. And as a pastor, being ready for a world in which the devil does exist and he doesn't show you himself, but he does have liars that he sends in. Now, sometimes in some areas, you might refer to this as, say, the alligator in the church. But see, that's kind of pastor, and unfortunately, it's kind of sad, really, as a word and a term. It's pastor jargon for a member who really just has it in for you. Like, they just hate you. And so you might call them your alligator, or I've got a couple alligators. And sometimes that term can even be used to mean, they're just kind of choppy. Like, they're grumpy all the time. And that's not really what this book was about at all. It's not about that kind of a loose thing, because it's almost like a term of endearment, alligator. Not quite, but almost. It can be. And what we're talking about here is like diabolical action by humans. And I remember reading the book, and it was basically saying, look, we as churches, and it was a Protestant writing this, but I think it applies. We as churches don't really believe this. We really don't believe that there's people that are going to show up at the church. They're going to want to join the church, and they're going to be there more or less to destroy the church, not by closing the doors, but by just over time changing what the church believes to not be what the scriptures say. Gently, nicely, friendly, funly, all that. And we don't believe that. And that when this happens, they will play dirty. They will fight dirty. They will not only use the rules against you, they will break the rules. And they will do this with awareness of what they're doing even. They'll know what they're doing. And again, I'm reading this book, and it's like, wow, that's terrifying. That's scary. Dear Lord, have mercy on me. I'll be ready. I'll try. I'll know this is out there. And then I haven't even thought about it until this year. I mean, I just forgot about it. And then I'm reading Article 8 again, which I've done many times. But I'm reading. It's like, wait a minute now. Let's put all this thing together here. I should just know when I go to church that there's unbelievers there and that they will talk sometimes, like say in a voters' assembly, and say things that don't make any sense with regard to being a Christian. And they will try to move the church away from Christianity with what they said. I just got to know that's there. And be aware of then that they're not above, telling lies outside of public places, spreading rumors and gossip and trying to harm everybody. Now, does that mean anybody who does that's not a Christian? No, necessarily. I don't know. You don't know. But you just got to know that someone out there is going to do that, right? They're going to do that. AC8 means believing in evil people and evil people in the church.